People of Los Angeles. Hi, it's me, Neal Brennan. I'm doing a show at the Fonda Theater November 11th. 2 shows, as a matter of fact. I said 1. I said A, but truth is I'm doing 2 of them. Get tickets now. NealBrennan.com, NealBrennan.com, November 11th. It's a Saturday. I believe the shows are at 6:30 and 9, and I have to do shows at 6:30 because, as Ali Wong said, all of my fans are depressed and they have to get to sleep early. NealBrennan.com. Hello, it's me, Neal Brennan. You've seen the thumbnail. You clicked on this. This is the Blocks podcast where we people come to me with their problems. We talk about them and everybody feels better, and we heal the planet Earth. My guest today is this kid's making it. This kid's making it in the way like Hannibal made it and Aziz made it, where you hear a lot of heat on them and then you see a clip and you're like, I like this kid.
I've always believed in aliens. I've never liked them. That they crash land and just destroy our land, destroying our property. They're making me Republican.
And then he's got a Netflix that'll probably be out by the time this airs. Maybe not the... What's the name of the special?
Cowabunga.
Ralph Barbosa, ladies and gentlemen. Cowabunga, Texas.
I like your intro, by the way. It starts off very like mafia, but then it gets very therapist.
Yeah, man.
It's like they come to me with their problems, and then we talk about it and we feel better.
We feel better. That's that's what The Godfather is about to me. Is that there's a
conflict resolution.
Yeah, there's like a strong male force, and they come to him with problems at a wedding.
You come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married, and you ask me to do it.
I like it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Very
Thanks,
Ralph.
Now you're from Texas. You're 26. You said when you were 19.
Yeah, I was like 19. First mic I did. Maybe 18. I'm pretty sure I was 19. It's like 19. But it was like a one and done. I retired for like a year.
Yeah, I've been there. I've retired a couple times.
Yeah. I got yelled at. I was like at the end of the list of the open mic, as it goes.
What city?
Dallas,
Great.
Texas. Yeah.
Hyenas or something?
Hyenas, actually,
Nice.
was the first mic. Yeah.
Nice. Been there.
I signed up at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. By the time I went up, it was 1 a.m. Thursday.
It was Thursday. Yeah, it was a day later.
Yeah, next day. First thing in the morning, got up, did my stand-up. But there was like maybe 2 comics after me.
Yeah.
And they were the only ones in the room with me. They were pretty drunk.
Uh-huh.
So as soon as I got up there, I was up there for like a minute, and one of them was just like, get the fuck out of here already. So I was like, all right, that's my time. And I was just like, yeah, it's not for me.
How hot is the crowd at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday? Hyenas is also not like in a hot neighborhood, so it's not...
Nah, we were the crowd, man.
Yeah.
The list was the crowd.
Yeah, fantastic.
The final 3.
Where you can specifically thank people for their laughter. Like, thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
And thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, exactly.
And you started doing well.
Way later. I was like 20, maybe the first time I got like actual laughs.
Yeah.
And this is maybe like my 4th, 5th open mic.
Uh-huh.
I got like 1 laugh at the beginning just because it was at Backdoor Comedy, which was inside of a Hilton Doubletree Hotel.
Sure.
And a lot of uppity folk.
Uh-huh.
And
what's that code for? White?
Not rich.
Okay.
But there were some white people.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We're everywhere.
There's I think the first 2 rows were just pretty much like older white couples. But the guy in the very front, this older guy, just made me really nervous the way he was staring at me. So the first thing that came to my mind was like, he looks like he called the cops on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said that. And it's like first pop.
Yep.
And that was like the first lesson in comedy, like, like honesty and confidence. Key.
And shitting on people in the front row.
Oh, yeah, that's too.
Huge.
Yeah.
If you ever are on stage, turn on the audience as quickly as you can. Turn on the whole audience. Turn on one particular person that you can all rally behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key.
But yeah, that was the first laugh. After that, I just had to, figure out how to write an actual joke.
You look very... I saw the first comment in one of your clips was like, this is like the middle school guy that everybody was friends with who was like nice and your mom liked him. Like he had a very...
Yeah, I had a few friends. Yeah.
Yeah. No, nobody's saying... No, but you have like a good face. You get a good face. You get a friendly face.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Could have gone this way, where it's
That's
a little sharp elbows.
You
on
got
my
nice
face.
glasses.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. So you're you might be too young to even know what your problems are. You know what I mean? You're in your 20s. You're starting to suspect probably that you got some issues. How did you grow up? Did you grow up like big family, small family? What?
I think I have a lot of family, a lot of relatives, but we're not exactly super close.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe a little chunk of us are pretty close.
Sure.
But I was raised by my grandma.
Okay.
My uncle, her oldest son, was always around. My mom was popping in and out. She was there for the most part. My dad too. I just, maybe a couple times a month go see him, or once every couple months. Just depends.
A couple times a year.
Yeah. Life was never really that stable, which I got used to. Now when things are kind of stable, it kind of fucks with my head a bit.
Do you have those on your? I want to. All right. So your parents young? Were they?
Yeah, my parents had me like at 16, 17 or something like that.
Okay, great.
And they moved in.
It's funny because you look 16, 17. It'd be funny if that's how like my parents had me when they were older. So that's why
that'd be cool. That'd be cool if you got to just stay at the age your parents had you at.
Yeah. It'd be a cool system. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So did they meet? You were their first kid?
Yeah, I was their first kid.
Did they have any more?
Yeah.
With each other?
No.
Okay.
It's different people. My mom has my little sister who is going to be 13 this year.
Okay.
She had her with another guy. And then my dad has a daughter in Mexico that he had with the whole other lady. And then he has my other teenage sister and brother. And then he just had a baby girl with my stepmom. So he has 3 kids with my stepmom.
I got to say, all right, so I'm 1 of 10. Same parents.
Nice. Parents getting it on.
Thanks so much. Yep. It wasn't good, but they fucking stuck it out. Did you ever long for, I feel it's so rare now, like intact fucking Christmas card family?
A whole unit.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, did you truly long for it, or did you know? I would assume, or I shouldn't assume, did you know a lot of people with like intact families, or was it more like split?
I knew a few people with like the intact family, but I never hung out with those guys because they always had
fucking
too many
squares, man.
They had too many rules at their house.
That's what happens when you got 2 parents.
Yeah.
You got fucking double the rules.
There's all this structure.
Yeah. Yuck.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Whereas you were fucking playing your mom against your dad and your grandma. And
yeah, I just ate, in my bedroom and watched TV.
Yeah.
There's no bedtime. I was raised by an old lady. Like, she was done. She was done raising kids.
I was right. My parents were old when they had me. So like I was the 10th. So it was, I was pretty much on.
The other ones
like you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you weren't eating a ton of vegetables, I'm betting?
Nah, I think I was. Only because my grandma's home cooking was pretty good.
Okay, great.
So, but I was also eating tons of junk.
Mm-hmm.
I was also like...
Did you, like, openly, would you bring junk home? Because I couldn't bring...
No, I could bring junk.
We couldn't have gum in the house.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. My parents were born in 1930 and 1933. So, like...
Why was gum bad? Was it like the devil in your house?
It was just, I think it was like a method of control, meaning like, if it's like now today it's gum, it's like a gateway drug.
Today it's gum. Tomorrow
today's gum. Tomorrow's heroin.
Meth.
Like, yeah,
nice.
like who knows where it's going. So, we just couldn't eat sugar. We couldn't.
No. We had tons of junk. My friends and I, we were all really close, like a little crew.
Yep.
And there was tons of like corner stores and gas stations around us, so we'd always walk and buy nothing but chips and sodas, and we always had them. And
colored drinks,
like
a red drink, like a fucking
it's
Mountain
definitely
Dew.
An addiction now, though. It didn't lead to more, I don't think. I'm not like on heroin or nothing, but
it led to more sugar.
Now I'm like every night snacking.
What are you hitting?
Just different types of chips. I love to get Lay's or like lemon Lay's or like the original Lay's, and then I'll pour like Valentina hot sauce on them.
Jesus.
It's like some soda.
Fuck, it's Mexican in here right now.
Yeah, it's so Mexican.
Jesus.
Hot Cheetos, hot fries.
Oh, fuck.
Everything California wants to ban, bro. Like anything with red dye.
Oh, fuck.
Red tastes good.
Red is a delicious color.
It's
I don't
a
know what
delicious
they're,
color.
like just red is a great, one of the hot One of the great
Anything
flavors.
that I can stick in the microwave, Hot Pockets.
Hot or cherry. Fuck.
Hot Pockets, Totino's pizza rolls. We had it all.
Do you? Well, you stay in hotels a lot. What do you bring? Like a? You ever see that mountain? I'm sorry. There's a weightlifting documentary called Generation Iron. One of the greatest docs ever. It's on, but they show them on. They have to travel a lot to flex on different people, and they're all just eating chicken and broccoli all day. So they all have George Foreman grills in their hotel rooms.
Nice. I got to start doing that.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, if
That'd be cool.
I don't know what you could do, like some sort of hot something.
I hate when we go to like really small towns and nothing's open, because I really like to eat some sort of like one step above microwavable food after a show. Like once we go back to the hotel, I would like to eat like a burger from.
Here's a question: do you use the microwave at 7-Eleven? Have you used it?
Not in a while.
So you have. I've never. That feels like a level. I don't want to say a level of dirtbag. I don't want to get to. It feels like a level of consumption that feels like a bridge too far.
The only time I've used it is for home cooked meals though. But when I was a teenager, occasionally I would go work for my dad. He had like this home remodel business. He had like a bunch of different businesses, but on lunch break, if my grandpa on my dad's side would bring lunch for him and myself, then we'd go to 7-Eleven to buy some drinks and then heat up the lunch. So it'd be like,
would they chase you out of there like the open mic? Like, get the fuck.
Nah, they were fine with it. As long as
that's interesting. I guess if you buy something, like, yeah, and help yourself to the microwave.
Yeah. Also, like, because this is Dallas, Texas, which is like 80% Hispanic, like, which means 80% of the Dallas population is going into 7-Eleven to reheat lunches or at least buy cold beverages, you know? So they can't stop us all, man.
It's like the wall, basically.
Yeah.
They can't, yeah, it's the border. It's fucking, what's that town? What's one of the border? Whatever. Fucking, one of the fill in. Write your own punchline. It's
I like this.
I want to say Ramos. It's not Ramos.
Punchlines.
Yeah, it's fucking, it's it's a self-checkout random punchline. You're absolutely right. All right, so let's do some blocks. But you see what you see is you go watch this Netflix.
Cowabunga on Netflix.
On Netflix. Can you believe it? Procrastination.
Yeah.
Block number one.
These are blocks as in like things that block you from being productive in comedy, right? Or blocks.
Emotional blocks.
Emotional blocks.
Yeah. Did you fill it out with that in mind?
No.
Things that make you feel like something's wrong with you.
Okay. Well, yeah, these are still good blocks.
But I feel like there's something you're not saying on here.
I just feel like the only thing that could be considered a block to me is anything that blocks me from like writing more stand-up.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So the thing I would say on here is like, gave you a lot. Stand up.
Yeah.
Not just you, but like everyone I know. It's like, it's identity, a living, fame. Like, it's a lot of shit. So you kind of want to give it an offering.
Yeah.
Of like, here, I wrote some, like, something.
Yeah.
So you're a procrastinator.
Definitely.
It's also your amygdala just formed, man. You're 26.
What was that? Amygdala?
Your amygdala. Yeah,
amygdala?
The front of your prefrontal cortex really just came together.
Oh, like it just got done being.
Yeah,
like,
it just got done. They just took the scaffolding down.
I read this thing one time that said like if you smoke weed while you're a teenager or a kid in general, like your brain will never finish developing.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, dope.
Yeah, I feel like my IQ will never stop increasing. Like,
no,
it's never done growing.
Yeah, no, it's really smart the way you approach it. It's like super duper sharp.
Yeah.
Do you have a writing process or no?
No, I guess I just kind of kick around ideas in my head. I feel like I kick around a punchline more than I kick around like a premise. I feel like funny stuff happens or like a funny thought occurs to my head.
Yeah.
And then I just got to figure out how to like write
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's most of what's in my head throughout the day. Well,
your jokes are like small. The reason I said you remind me of Aziz and Hannibal is because those guys kind of took like the Mitch Hedberg approach. Mitch was like just one-liners. But Hannibal and Aziz was more about like small interactions, which I feel like your jokes are a lot like that.
I definitely feel inspired by those comics a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they were kind of who were popping when I was like towards the end of high school, and I started taking more of an interest in stand-up, especially Mitch Hedberg. I didn't even find out who Mitch was, if I'm being 100% honest. I didn't find out who Mitch Hedberg was until after I started stand-up.
Yeah.
But I do like those comics a lot. I feel like they're really good at taking the funny small instances of a day and like creating a special with it, or creating big chunks, which helped me get back into mics. Because like I was telling you, I went to a mic, then I felt like, oh, this isn't for me. I felt horribly. Then like 6-7 months later, I went back, and then like again, that was a story. And then I saw
you did shitty again.
Yeah,
great.
But then I started seeing like it was like on Netflix. It was like Hannibal takes like Edinburgh or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was this scene where he's like listening to his tapes, and he was just talking about like, yeah, it's tough to listen to him, but it makes you a better comic if you listen to your voice, like audio, and then like adjust or whatever. And then that kind of like reminded me that, and seeing like how his jokes were about everyday things, like simple things even. I was like, man, so it's like, you just got to keep working at it. So then I started going back to mics and just trying different jokes out, and like just kept going after that.
It's also funny because watching you, it's like I'm good with what you're doing. Like I'm like a lot of guys, I'm like, well, what are you getting at? Whereas with you, I'm like, yeah, you don't got to get anything. Just kind of be like, and then I went over here.
Yeah.
This happened.
Yeah.
And then that.
I also don't want to stick to one genre of jokes. Like I feel like some of my jokes can be super silly, talk about random things, and some of them can touch on somewhat serious subjects, even though I try not to have like this like stance or anything like that, because it's just jokes to me, you know. But I also don't want to stick to like one genre or like one style. I feel like whatever's funny is funny, and whatever I can think of that I like, that I think is funny, then I'll use it.
Well, yeah, you don't. It's just write whatever comes up.
Yeah,
like that's the key. But it's cool in that like I immediately accept you on your terms, which is a great thing for you. Like people are immediately like, yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you notice about yourself? What do girls notice about you in relationships?
In relationships,
you have a kid.
Yeah,
right?
I have a son. Yeah.
And how old's the son?
4.
Okay, so, and you still close with the mom?
Yeah, we're cool.
Great.
We knew each other since we were like teenagers, so we're pretty cool.
Great.
We had them when we were like, I was 22, she was like 21.
Okay. Were you worried? Were you like?
Oh yeah, super scared. I was like living the life before he was born.
Where were you?
I was living at my grandma's.
The life.
I was hitting open mics and showcases every night. I was cutting hair out of my bedroom throughout the day.
Great.
I was making like $200-300 a week. I had a 2002 Nissan Sentra. It was sweet.
Couldn't tell you shit.
I ate like a king.
Yep.
Home cooked meals
and hot everything.
Jack in the Box tacos. Whatever I wanted. It was at my fingertips. I definitely wanted stand-up to be my job at the time. But knowing that I was going to have a son definitely made me kick it into next gear and like make sure that stand-up worked out. I was like, man, if I'm not careful, then by the time he's really needing me to provide, like as he gets older, I mean, you got to provide from the start, right?
Yeah.
But by the time I need to like be in a better neighborhood that he can, you know, so he can be in a better school, and by the time I need to buy him some actual clothes and all this stuff, like,
what are the most expensive years of a kid? I'm assuming it's just college.
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
I'm barely 4 years in, bro. I can't tell you.
I came to you for guidance, man.
But I was like, I need stand up to be my full time by then, because by the time I need to make the real money, which you need it from the start, but I don't know. I feel like by the time he's a certain age, if I hadn't really made it, like, I'm really fucking up, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be a barber anymore by the time he's 4 or 5. And I feel like I just in time made it as a full-time comic.
That's funny. How long after he was born did you did you put the clippers away?
Nah, I didn't put them away until a year ago this month. We're in October.
Yeah.
2023. So 2022 of October was when I was like,
So you were still cutting hair a year ago.
Yeah.
That's
very,
insane.
very little. I mean, I lost like all my clients.
Well, yeah, you weren't around.
Yeah, I was always like canceling appointments to go to like do 5 minutes in some town, like 3 hours away or something, like I was always putting stand up first.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
Now, who's got the best hair to cut?
That's a good question.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you have you always wondered that, everybody?
I think it varies person to person.
But let's stereotype some people.
You don't want it too straight.
Real quick.
I don't think you want it too straight, but you also don't want it like too curly.
Right.
You want like some texture in it. You want their skin not to be too dark or too light.
Why?
For the contrast, like of the fade,
Okay.
You want them to have good skin. You want them to have a good set of hair. But there is like people who grow way more hair, like per square inch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be thick and you can have tons of it.
There's some months it comes out super fat and you're like, all right, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'll take it.
I think it's definitely like, and
it sounds like you're just describing yourself. Yeah, I mean, a lot of
my hair sucks. My actual hair sucks for fades. My fades don't look good. Well, you got to be an amazing barber to make me look good. But I do think Latinos get the best fades. It looks good on them.
Black people are on their way over here right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're about to get fucked up. White, you don't.
But
I mean,
to be fair, it's not even like my Latinos. It's like what are they called? Afro Latinos, like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans.
Yep.
So like in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, not a Mexican. I'm Mexican.
What's what's the? I don't even want to make it. I don't want to say too stringy.
It's like like too straight. Like sometimes.
Why don't know. I would have thought a barber would want straight hair. I thought you were gonna say Asians.
Straight hair is the easiest to cut, maybe.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna look the best.
When you take a job, this is the first barber I've ever spoken to in this amount of depth. It makes me realize I should follow my dream.
If I had to make, you ever go to the barbershop, you see those posters
Sure.
and they're numbered and they got like a different.
Yeah, of course.
If I had to make a poster, I would make it like with Puerto Rican models.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Brazilians?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just because they have the best,
they got a good set of hair. It's nice and thick.
Right.
They got a good skin tone for the pictures for the fade,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
I would have thought as a barber you'd want the easiest head and not the best. Like, what can I?
Well, you said which one looks the best, didn't you?
No, I said, well, I don't know what I said.
Which one's the best?
There's no way to find out.
Who's got the best hair to cut?
For the easiest cut, for the easiest money, then yeah, I'll go like white people. You guys aren't even picky.
Thank you so much.
You guys like sometimes it doesn't even need to be faded, and you guys are like, looks good.
Okie dokie. And we're fucking on our way. Get on our dirt bike and get out of there.
Now white people and black people are on their way up here.
Yeah, bring them. We got them. We'll hold it down.
But if I want to pull in the most clientele, you got to do like a Puerto Rican / Dominican poster, because now
you get everybody.
You get Mexicans and black people who are like, okay, yeah, that looks enough like me. That looks enough like my hair texture, and they're all coming in.
And white people are like, he's got some sort of African features, but nothing that.
If I wanted to attract more white people, I'd get the picture where like with the scissor cuts. That was my biggest problem with attracting white clientele, was they didn't think I could use scissors. But we ended up getting a lot of white clientele anyway, because at the barbershop where I worked at was in a neighborhood that was, what's the word, like getting gentrified, I guess. Like, so you still had like hood clientele, but you also had like these very like wealthy business owners and people who were buying serious property in that area of Dallas. So
guys with like bags across their chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like 50-year-old white guy, like lawyers, and also like the young, like, works for a tech company. White guy just moved from San Francisco.
Wearing a fleece.
Yeah. A lot of that.
Nice. I could ask barber questions all day. Did you have a shop you worked at?
Yeah, it's called Oak Cliff Barbers in Dallas, Texas. I actually grew up getting my haircuts there. and then later on,
And then
there.
you fulfilled a lifelong dream of cutting there as well.
Yeah, they made me want that place made me want to be a barber because the guy who would cut my hair, which is one of the owners, his name's Jose. He was like a huge shit talker. He just like roast people as they walked in. You know, like he also dressed pretty nice. Like I remember he had like clothes from Nordstrom one day, but then the other day he'd just be like in Nike sweats. And just hearing this dude talk shit and roast people and wear whatever he wanted and make cash, I was like, yo, this is a great job.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any fights in the barbershop?
Maybe a couple. I actually never witnessed one. I witnessed one that was about to happen, or a couple that were about to happen, but I've never been there for an actual fight. But I've heard the stories.
Just dudes like who knew each other or didn't know each other?
Yeah, they knew each other.
Oh, okay.
It's too mumuch shit talking at some point, you know.
You got to take your
satchel off, and
but you got to take the bib
the
off
cape,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, the cape. There, I don't know what the official, I don't know what the official term was. Sorry, I don't want to step it on your toes. Guys, you know I don't often leave the house. I'm America's sexiest shut-in. But when I do, don't waste my time. I don't need a lot of guff or a lot of riffraff. And is there any situation that lends to more guff or riffraff than getting tickets? GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guaranteed, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Let's go. Let's go look. Our friend Ralph Barbosa, he's going to be at the Irvine Improv soon. His tickets are expensive now because he did the podcast and now he's a big star. That's how it works, guys. Clippers, Lakers. Now, the Clippers just traded for a bunch of people. They got James Harden, and the 76ers got Karl Malone and Sidney Moncrief and Tree Rollins and Greg Kite and Moses Malone and Mark Ivoroni. They got a lot of they got the guy who used to sit behind the Washington Bullets bench and read books that were yelling at Michael Jordan. Look it up. It's interesting. Maybe we'll have a picture of it. Every Clippers game now is just interesting, at least sociologically. Travis Scott's doing the SoFi Stadium soon. Fred again. Somebody sent me a clip from Fred again. He's doing, he's working tonight, actually. Fred again, he's EDM, where I go, I'll hear the song and I go, oh, I like him. I didn't know he was a him or a them or a they. And I'm not doing a gender joke. I'm doing like I don't know who these EDM people are. They're not a band. Although Bonobo's a band. Although he's one guy named Simon. Olivia Rodrigo is going to do the Forum soon. And that's not soon. That's next August. So you go ahead and get ahead of that one. You got 10 months. With GameTime, you can wait the whole 10 months. You can get tickets that day. Although now they're $240. So next August, they're going to be a little tough. Here's some things I like about going on the GameTime app. They got last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. Huh? Did you even know that was a thing? Now that you have it, you can say whatever you want to anybody at your job because you're covered. GameTime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show you your total upfront so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. Buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps. They're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts, because who knows when these musicians start. It's the place to find last-minute seats is my point. I won't stop talking about it. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app right now, create an account, and use code BLOCKS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BLOCKS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices. You know it's guaranteed. If you take a look at search trends, interest in learning a new language is only increasing over time. And there tends to be a bit of a spike in the fall because it's the perfect time to pick up a new hobby, like learning a new language. And with Babbel, you start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks, just in time to show off for the holidays and make your whole family resent you even more than they do right now. Why Babbel? Because it works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor or fooling yourself with language apps that are a little more than games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Or tres semanas. as I call it. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations. All of Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching. I was just outside with Gabe Iglesias and the valet guy. They were speaking Spanish, and there were a couple times where I could have interjected, and I didn't, because I've been doing my babbles at home, and I'm progressing. Just let the record show that I'm making progresso. Don't know if that's how you say it. The sound of the right answer in Babbel. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove that Babbel is better. For instance, one study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversations. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/BLOCKS. Get 55% off at babbel.com/BLOCKS, spelled BABBEL.com/blocks. That's BABBEL.com/blocks. You could have a new language by Christmas, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve. It's no problemo. That's my point. Babbel. Babbel, Babbel, Babbel. All right, so have you been in any real relationships with women?
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
Like it's bad. It goes good for a while.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, it goes good for like the first few months.
And you can't keep it up.
I can't keep it up. How you know that?
See, that's what none of us can. Here's how relationships work. Women pretend to be sexual and men pretend to be thoughtful. And we can both do it for like 3 or 4 months. And then it goes to what we're really like. And then we start getting mad at each other.
Yeah. Why? Is that just human nature?
Yeah, because we both want a thing. I believe men just want like sex and a connection, and women want a connection and they'll take sex. Like, whereas we have to, like, it's a problem for us. We don't get it. So we both present in a certain way, and then we come to them, we're like, I'll give you a connection. And then they go like, I'll give you sex. And then and that's kind of what happens. And it's also like new structures.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, after a few months, I guess I don't long for a connection much anymore. After a few months, I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to go back to being alone.
That's that's maybe the issue with people like us is it's pretty good, pretty fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. We got a full cable package up here. We can entertain ourselves.
Yeah. Like, I was an only child for a long time. I've never lived with any of my siblings up until now. So I'm like pretty good at just me and my TV. If I didn't have a TV, I'd lose it.
That's the connection that's that's a great connection.
I've lived with a girl, my son's mom. And I remember like sharing the bed was the first, like, whoa, like this is endgame. Was you got to find somebody to share a bed with? I had my own bed my whole life. Now I have to share one. That feels like a demotion.
Yeah, it sure does.
Now I also have to share control of the remote.
Yep. And you got to wait for the bathroom. It's like prison.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
Also, she doesn't wait until I'm done using the bathroom. Like, you get less privacy. You get less TV time. And I know to a lot of women, this just sounds like immature. They're like, that's your big problem with TV. But like, yeah, it was my best friend growing up. TV.
Yeah. Yes.
I also like hate most of their TV shows.
Yeah, that's a problem. Men and women don't have a ton of shared interests.
We don't.
It's like we pretend, but
I can do like a few date nights, and maybe that's just me not being ready for marriage or whatever. But I don't know if I will be ready for marriage, just because like I'm not going to be able to share a TV every night for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And then it's also, would you be in a relationship? Would you be one of those dudes who like has his own wing of the house? You know what I mean?
You need that.
Yeah.
You need that. I feel like, and it's only fair if a woman gets that too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of women now are saying like, I don't even want to live with a guy.
That'd be fine.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a smart way to approach it because it's not.
Doesn't mean I love you less, you know?
It's like, this isn't going to help. Just constant other person in your face.
Yeah,
it's not going to make you like, oh, I fucking adore it.
And maybe that comes from like my own issues too. Like just like things never being stable at home.
Yeah.
Like things were always changing. People were in and out the house. But one like unit, you know, being like a perfect couple and living together from like this point until forever just seems like a crazy goal to me.
Look, if it weren't for children, there'd be no I don't even think women would want to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's just about safety. It's about creating a stable environment for a kid. Now, on the other hand, unstable environment, exhibit A, unstable environment, only child, hot chips, fucking reheating at 7-Eleven, nothing but his TV's his best friend. Pretty good.
Cowabunga on Netflix.
Okay. What do you, well, you're still young enough that I wouldn't worry about it.
Or worry about what?
I wouldn't worry about
like marriage.
I know where you're headed with all this relationship stuff. Because I'm way older than you, and it's still like, what is this really supposed to work? It's set up for raising a kid. Like that's what marriage is for. It's for like legal protections in case one of you bounces and you got to pay the other person for the kid. It's like, I get it, but sometimes it seems a little unnecessary. Okay, so you did find the kid, it focused you.
Yeah, definitely.
So and you love the kid, I'm assuming. Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
All right, great.
Yeah, I love my son to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure to be home at least 3 to 4 days. Like during the weekdays that I'm not on the road, make sure to be home and, you know, take him to school, pack his lunch, do stuff after school. He's in pre-K.
Great.
And so like definitely love being a father.
Oh, so did you always think you were going to love it?
Yeah. Because and this is information that I've kind of talked about here and there, but never in too much detail. But yeah, when my son was born, we weren't 100% sure that he was mine because my son's mom and I we had actually like just split up when she was pregnant, and we had tried to get back together. We're seeing each other for a little bit, but it didn't work out. She went to date somebody else, so we weren't exactly sure who was going to be the dad. But we handled it pretty well.
Was the other dude like prepared to be the dad?
I don't know.
Did you guys? You didn't. All right, so it wasn't like a cooperative situation.
It was like, I mean, she would talk to me about it, and I don't know. I don't think that guy knew about me.
Like you guys weren't going to the OBGYN together.
No,
you weren't as like a
no.
throuple.
No.
What white people call a throuple.
Yeah, we were. I don't know too much about how she was handling the situation.
Uh-huh.
I don't think she was handling it too well.
Okay.
I didn't want to get too much in her business either. I just told her like, you should let that other guy know.
Say his name. Okay.
And I was like, she at one point made it seem to me like that other guy like didn't want anything to do with it, which I don't know if that was just her saying it or if that's true or not. But I was prepared to like be there either way. At the thought of having a baby, I wanted to take the chance to be a dad. But I was also like, well, let that guy know, like, be 100% honest with me and with him, because if he wants to be a dad, I'm not gonna try to step on somebody else's toes. Like, I'm not gonna be like, nah, bro, you step out, I'll take care of your kid, right?
Yeah.
But no, once my son was born, we got like a DNA and found out for sure he was mine, and so I was like happy either way. And once I found out that he was like biologically mine, then I was just like ecstatic, you know?
Yeah.
And I definitely wanted to do whatever I had to do to make sure that like
it would have been cool if you guys had like a gladiator. You and the other dude, but like for dad shit, that would have been a kind of a dope.
I would have taken him out.
I think that's what we go in and pitch at Netflix. This is a fucking broad question and probably racist. Do you think the expectations for the Latino community fathers is different? What are the expectations? Because as like the way I grew, mine's generational, meaning my dad was from the generation of like, roof over your head and food on the table.
I think
that's the list. Now the list for like the guy in the white dude in the fleece is like, you gotta be.
Nah, I think the expectation for the average Latino male is like, are you providing, like you said, a roof and food on the table, and at least like being home.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know a lot of people my age who are dads who are extraordinary dads.
Yeah.
They go above and beyond to be like a great dad and family man.
Yeah.
Be connected with the family, spend quality time and do all that. But I think all that's really expected of you. Like, you don't even have to really talk.
Well,
like,
that is true. Well,
go to work, come home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sit there.
You
have your lap open. Like, who comes in on the lap?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all that's like really expected of you as like a Latino dad. Which I think my son's mom and a lot of people were not expecting me to pull through with that even. Which was fair enough. I was, like I said, I was living at my grandma's. I didn't even want to get like a real job.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a dad on my own terms. By that time, my son's mom and I's relationship, I don't know if I said that correctly. Our relationship was already like, it had been going bad on and off for the past 3 years before my son was born. Once I knew he was my son, once it kind of hit me that like I'm a father now, I wanted to make decisions differently. I wanted to make decisions that I would want my son to make one day if he were in my situation, decisions that he would respect. So I always treated his mom with respect. We'd have our fights, and maybe sometimes I'd let my temper get the best of me. She'd push my buttons a lot. But for the
you a screamer?
No.
You like a seether?
I don't know what seether means. I might just say something that was kind of like hurtful.
Okay.
But like not like in a, like I never would like call her anything outside of her name.
You just say some slick shit.
Yeah.
You just be a comic about it.
Yeah. But I always did my best to stay respectful. Anytime we had a fight, I always just remind her, like, I'm on your team. We both want the same thing for our son. I was like, I don't want to fight with you. Like, we just want to make sure he has a good life. But I don't feel like it was paying a lot of respect to myself to stay with her after a lot of the kind of just childish things we had put each other through. So I just wanted to be a dad on my own terms. I split up with her. She took it pretty hard. Like, she wouldn't let me see my son at first, or like I'd have to go to her house, which is I guess her way of getting me to like trying to lure me back in. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to fight for like joint custody, but I couldn't afford a lawyer, so I just put myself on child support. So they like forced her to let me see my son.
Explain that? Yeah,
like I went to the attorney general's office and like signed the paperwork to like put myself on child support, so that by law she had to let me see my son.
Great.
As long as I like paid the money, which I had no problem giving her money. Like, she's never been selfish or mature with money. She's never been the type that if I gave her like $500 and told her spend it on our son, then she wouldn't use a dime for herself, you know?
Yeah.
So I never had a problem giving her money. And after a few months, once my son was like, because we split up when he was maybe like 5 months. Once my son was getting closer to a year, I think she had gotten over the breakup. We had our worst fights behind us. And we started working out like our whole other schedule on our own, like outside of what the child support. We didn't even like go to court. We went to our first court date, and we worked out like a schedule and like a whole agreement before even seeing the judge. So we just like signed that.
You told him, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, like
hit the gavel. All right.
Yeah. Somebody, so like there's like a guy who works for the court. I forgot what they call him, but there's a bunch of just bad relationships sitting out in the hallway.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so I guess to get the day moving faster.
It's like a museum of shitty relationships.
Yeah. I guess to get the day moving faster, a guy will come out and just talk to each couple. Like, you guys work anything out, or you need to see the judge, you know? And so we were like,
this is gonna fucking, what are we looking?
Yeah.
30 minutes?
So we were like, nah, we got a deal already. And they're like, yeah. I was like, all right. And he just like typed it out for us, like edited. Because there's like the basic child support agreement that like the state gives you.
Yeah.
So they just go in there, edit it with like a pen, and they make copies of it. You sign it. It's like, all right, well, you don't got to be here then. And yeah, we haven't seen court ever since. And I get my son half the week. Basically whatever days I'm in town, my son's with me. And the minute I got to go out of town, then
so you're like raising him. There are times where it's just you and your son in your house.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking adorable. Honestly.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. No, it's like really goddamn cute.
Thank you.
You just got a lot of female fans. don't fuck this
More
up.
kids coming. Nah, nah.
That's great though that you made. Did you surprise yourself with the amount of like the way you approached it? Meaning, had you done anything like that in your life? Like, had you made ethical stands in your life in the past?
Maybe it's just small ones. Like, I've talked about this on other podcasts too. A lot of my family.
Yo, man, don't come in here with this other podcast bullshit, man.
I don't not in the same.
Not at this
To piece
depth.
my life together, you gotta put like 17 podcasts
Yeah,
together.
that's funny.
But a lot of people in my family were involved with like selling drugs or just like crime stuff in general.
Yeah.
And I think I was like the black sheep for never like getting involved.
That's funny.
I
Yeah,
had temptations. I remember I like sold weed for like 2 weeks, and I had no idea I knew that many people that would actually want to buy weed from me. And I think in like a couple weeks, I made like way more money than I thought I would make. Feel kind of like scared at the amount of money that came that fast. My cousin was the one that like hooking me up with a lot of it. One of his buddies was, and I told him like, man, I'd rather just not do it. I was like, I know it's like a huge pussy move to just be like, all right, never mind, I don't want to do this no more. But I was like, if I stay used to this, I'm never gonna learn any real skills in the world. And at around that time, a lot of our relatives were getting locked up, and I was just like, man, I don't want to get caught and then just put our family through more like hardship.
yeah.
I was like, I'd rather just find something else. Which I think my family, they didn't like, a lot of my family didn't know, like my mom, my grandma, uncles, they didn't know I did that and then decided that. But I think
Have they heard about it since?
maybe now. Yeah. Because they're just like, yeah, whatever. But for a long time, I think they might have rather I had done that. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted me to do that. But for a long time, I was the bum of the family until a year ago.
That's so funny.
So it was like, I don't know. They were always just like, get it together, man. Get your life together. And I was always in my head like, hey, man, like I made right choices, all right? And they're
Yeah.
like, no, you didn't. Like,
Yeah,
you can't, because you can't be like, I'm not going to do this life of crime, but also not do a productive life either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like way too neutral.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
was
have you considered crime? Like,
yeah, it was like, if you're not going to do crime, well, then get like a job.
yeah.
And I was like doing
well,
neither.
look, I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah.
You were transitioning. It was a tough transition.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you grow up with like religious at all?
I mean, my family's like Catholic. We went to church every blue moon, but
Yeah.
we weren't too religious.
Blue Moon's not an actual religious thing. I don't know what they told you. But that shit seeps in.
Yeah. I mean, we do this.
Yep. You got a Mary in the house. You got a Jesus in that.
We had both of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So right there, you got like
Yeah.
that heat coming down on you to do the right shit.
Yeah. I got that Catholic guilt. For sure.
Yeah. No, that's the best kind I got.
Yeah. Every time things are going good for me, I'm like, I'm going to hell.
Yeah. It's pride cometh before the fall. You know all those fucking Catholic sayings.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, this is what you have. One of your blocks is when personal life is too good.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? What happens when things are going good? You're waiting for the bottom to drop out?
Not necessarily. I think when I'm frustrated, depressed, or angry, whatever negative thoughts are consuming my mind, it's easy to like turn those into jokes or to ignore them by just thinking of funny stuff. And I feel like some of the best material comes from like when I'm feeling, I guess, like the angriest or the saddest.
Mm-hmm.
And when things are going better in my personal life and I'm not angry, depressed, or sad, and I am being like maybe more social, because I don't think I'm that social of a person, but you know, when I'm just like content with like my personal life, man, my jokes just start to suck.
Yeah.
I don't think I've slacked too much on writing jokes, but like I'll say like April, May, and June of this last year, I was like really having fun with new friends I had made, spending more time with family, which I like don't
I
do
saw that
very
you got
much
some
of.
sneakers at one point. They
Yeah.
gave you some sneakers.
Yeah, I was like doing all this
at
stuff.
Cobb's in San Francisco.
Yeah. And a lot of the jokes that I was doing at that time, now that I look back on them, I'm like, man, those jokes suck compared to some of the other jokes that I really like, that I have
Yeah.
more fun doing or that
Yeah.
I think are funnier.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't want to be like too happy in my personal life because then it makes my comedy life not as enjoyable.
Right. Well, you'll probably, I mean, where I ended up was like, it's just a reflex. I can be happy and still notice some dumb shit.
Okay, yeah.
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? And then like work, like go start from that point of like, that's a contradiction or whatever the joke is going to be. So it's not like, that's stupid, but I'm too happy to talk about it. It's like, it's stupid and like, all right, well, I still am like, I feel like we have so many parts of ourselves and they'll just kind of pop up
Gotcha.
like, and be, and then sometimes you just write whack shit for a little bit.
Yeah. 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 It can't all be tens, you know?
And I mean, ladies, and so yeah, I feel like you'll figure that out, honestly.
I just love having something to escape from. I feel like I have the most fun when I guess it goes back to like the procrastination thing. It's like when there's something to like really escape from, then I feel like that's when I have the most fun or can be the most productive, if that makes sense. So if I have like negative shit going on, not that I want to bring negative shit on, like God forbid, you know.
And yeah.
But when there's negative shit going on, then it's easy to like sweep it under the rug or something. But sweeping it under the rug is my, I guess, where I have the most fun writing jokes. You know,
Yeah.
It's like if I have the kitchen on fire while I have guests over, or like now I got to entertain these guests.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I have the most fun writing jokes when things are going bad. It's like it feels like a do or die moment.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that is like when it is like a escape hatch.
Yeah.
And like I said, life will get fucked. I mean, it's just built for fucking. It's too many things can go wrong. They're gonna go wrong.
Somebody sent me like a movie script. I've never acted or anything.
Yeah.
But they're like, man, we'd love to have you for like a small role, which I thought that was kind of cool, I guess. I don't know if I want to act or not, but they wanted me to like read the script so I can like read it with them at like a table read. And the table read is like tomorrow or like the day after tomorrow. And I told them that I'd have it read by now, and last night I had the chance to read it, but I was like, you know what? Let me watch like every preseason NBA game that has been going on in the last week.
Yeah.
I just stayed up till like 3 a.m.
You owed it to yourself.
Yeah.
No, dude, reading scripts is like, just wait for the read through. Read your parts.
Yeah.
Read the parts you're in, and then but you don't have to be like, you don't have to memorize. Everybody's literally reading it.
Yeah.
So it's not, yeah, you'll be all right.
But that basketball game, all those basketball games would not be as enjoyable if I didn't have something to do.
Oh, that's funny. That you almost like, you'd rather cheat on a woman than, do you know what I mean?
Makes the sex way more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what your entire existence is. It's like, is that you're like, yo, what? I'm not even supposed to be here right now.
that is
NBA. I'm not supposed to be looking at you.
I don't know why, but things are just way more enjoyable like that.
That's so funny, dude. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That you're like a philanderer. You're like a serial
philanderer.
Yeah, that's the word for it. Is a guy who fucks around a lot.
I should name that the next special.
I have a good idea for a cover, by the way. For art, is the haircut, and it's 9 U's.
9 me's
with different haircuts.
All right, hell yeah.
For your tour, do it like 12. Do 12.
All on the post, like the barbershop poster board.
Yep.
Oh,
I've had that idea for literally 25 years. Never knew what to do with it. I give that to you.
Hell yeah. That's an honor.
It is, sir. Godfather. You know what I wish could be done for me this holiday season? I wish someone would just like decorate my house in a Christmassy way because it's nice. I just don't feel like doing it. The holidays are the busiest time of the year, so don't get stuck worrying about shipping orders. Let ShipStation do the heavy lifting so you and your team can put your time, money, and energy into more important things. Plus, when it comes to those inevitable holiday returns, ShipStation automates, recommends exchanges, and gathers customer feedback. So even if they bought the wrong size or color, they'll still have a great experience. I haven't started using it yet, but I've downloaded it and I've looked around the app. I just got a bunch of Blocks albums on vinyl that I'm going to need to get rid of. I think you know what I'm going to use. I, of course, have the Neal Brennan shirt from a few years ago, button shirt with pockets, which I'll start selling them soon. It's a good app. It's a good website. It easily automates shipping tasks and manages orders and returns in one simple dashboard. You can quickly and easily update crucial order information and reduce errors. Effortless integration anywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more. ShipStation manages orders, prints labels, compares rates, optimizes every shipment, and automates delivery notifications. Automate returns and offer custom smart recommendations for exchanges to keep customers happy. Let your customers shop risk-free this holiday season with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use code Neal, that's me, Neal, today and sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code Neal. It's just good. You're going to do it. Do it. I don't look, you know me, I'm not passive aggressive, I'm not bossy, but do it. ShipStation. Oh, all right, this is a good one. But guilt of not being present with any friends or family.
Yeah.
What's the difference between you stoned and not stoned?
I think when I'm not stoned, I think I already have like a naturally stoned mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I am stoned, it's just like way too dumb.
It's like past.
Yeah. I think where I'm at is like where most people are when they're just like a little stoned, you know?
And people will be like, this guy's so baked. I'm not. This is just my face.
You have anxiety?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I get them like in bursts for sure. I get like anxious bursts. You know?
Like days or like an hour?
Nah, probably like a day or two.
Got it.
And then when it's like finally gone, it just feels like I stopped like shaking or vibrating, like kind of
anxiety.
exhausted.
Dude, I have depression. And I don't even have that anymore. But the anxiety was so much worse to me than depression.
Yeah,
because it's like you're just getting a fucking small, like you're getting tased a little bit all the time on anxiety.
I get like rushes of thoughts. Sometimes don't even make sense. Like it's just thinking and thinking and thinking about stuff. Like if I'm on my last 24 hours of life and I have a to-do list to get done.
What kind of stuff?
It's just stuff that doesn't even like matter. Like just random thoughts. Like I wonder why this person didn't do this. I wonder why this is going on. I wonder what's going to happen with that. I wonder. And it's just like, man.
Is there a last 24 hours urgency to it? Or is it just random?
No, it's just like fast thoughts. Like, and then I'm trying to like prioritize the thoughts. I'm trying to think about what do I have to do by tomorrow or today?
And what can I do to fuck around on that? You cheat on your own behavior.
Yeah.
You're like, you cheat on people's expectations.
Maybe, yeah.
People, and you're like, yeah, but there's a
I don't know. Maybe that's
San
why
Antonio. I want to see if Victor's for real.
Man, I don't know. Maybe that's why sometimes I just, like I said, I'm not present with my friends or family. I think when I finally like go home, like on a Monday, I feel like that's my weekend.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be around people who are asking me. Like, this sounds mean, but I don't want to be around people where they're asking me about my business. I feel like it's enough pressure. Like if people knew that I was coming, I didn't tell anybody I was coming to do your podcast.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if people start to know that I'm going to go talk with Neal Brennan, they're going to start asking questions about you that I don't know. They're going to be like, yo, does he hang out with like Chappelle? Does he do this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yo, is he sad all the time?
Yeah, like.
Or is it just sometimes?
Like, who booked you on that? Who hooked you up with that?
Yeah.
Or like stuff like that. Like, and it'll be like friends or family that could ask stuff like that. But I don't really like to be asked
They
that
could just
stuff.
DM me.
Yeah, just DM
Just
me.
FYI, I'm pretty open about that.
Or they ask questions about stand up or whatever. And then, like manager, agent, well, they got to ask you questions to know which direction take you in or whatever. And I feel like all these questions.
Do you travel by yourself?
No, I usually take 2 of my comedian buddies with me.
Okay.
But these are questions that sometimes are like meaningless questions, or sometimes questions that I even have to ask myself, like career direction type questions.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? What are you going to say on that? And I'm just like, I don't know. And like, I don't want more of the questions I'm already asking myself. I don't want to hear them from outside voices too, because it just like builds the pressure. So like once I go home, I just want to be alone. Like I don't want to be around anybody. I also don't want to be around people who are asking like the same, like a lot of my dad's friends. I live at my dad's now. A lot of my dad's friends, I mean, there's supporters. There could be fans too, but they're asking a lot of like, they're like, "Are you gonna do Joe Rogan?" I'm like, "Bro, do you think I know Joe Rogan?" Like,
Yeah.
but, and like I know that they're just trying to be nice, but it's, you hear that question from so many
it is
people.
a funny thing where it's like they're trying to make small talk.
But you've heard that
and
question
they're
so many times.
genuinely interested.
Yeah,
And it is interesting.
It is, but like, man,
And at the same time, but it does. I think I know where you're coming from, because I don't like, dude. I always tell people, like, I don't like even telling people where I got my sandwich from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where people go, "Where'd you get the sandwich?" And then you gotta go, Mendocino Farms. Are like, should have gone to that other place. And you're like, dude,
I hate that
now
right
I
there.
gotta worry about your judgment.
Yeah.
So I got the wrong sandwich. Okay, now you
I
kind of
hate that.
ruined the sandwich 10%.
I hate worrying about judgment.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid as many people as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when they're not bringing stuff up, well, sometimes I try to avoid people just because, like, I don't want to bring them down. Because if I am around people, chances are I'm still not present. Chances are I'm still thinking about, like, a joke.
Well, all right,
Or,
let me ask you
career
this.
stuff.
How you define presence? Are you present now?
Yes.
Okay. Why now?
When you invited me out to your podcast.
Right, but I'm saying, like,
and we're talking comedy.
yeah,
This
no,
is
I got
cool.
you.
I love
Like, yeah,
comedy.
I think it's just a matter of, like, I'm more interested in certain shit than I am in other shit. And I'm more interested in talking to certain people about it than other people.
Yeah.
Well, that's this thing of, like, why are you so absent? Like, I get accused of it by friends, girlfriends, whatever. And it's like, because I got my mind wanders. Generally wanders to the same shit over and over and over and over. But I'm saying, I hear you where it's like, I don't want to, this is stressing me out. This, like,
I
your
feel like,
expectations of, like, then you feel bad that you don't know Rogan.
yeah.
Like, you feel like, am I failing? Because
Yeah.
I'm not succeeding in
Yeah.
the way that this guy needs me to succeed.
And even when they're not talking shop, even when they're not, like, I could be at a get together with family or something. I just feel bad because sometimes they'll talk about something that'll grab my attention and yeah, we'll talk. But other times everybody will be talking and I'll just be like staring into the space.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, and I
Yeah.
can't help it, but I do that. Too much of that can be bad, but too
Yeah.
much of only outside talk with other people can be bad too, you know?
Yeah.
But
It is the pressure. It is the judgment. Even if they're not judging you, you kind of feel like they are.
yeah.
Like, there's one answer they'd way rather have you have. I'm doing Rogan on Tuesday. Like, that's what they want.
I feel like also the pressure of when I'm not giving people the answer they want, I'm like picking away at fans or supporters. So that's a reason I avoided podcasts for a long time too. Is over the last year, I've gotten people that come to shows and follow me on Instagram, and then I feel like once they hear me on podcast and maybe they're expecting me to be something, and then they find out this, they're just gonna be like, never mind. But I mean, I can't like hold that mystery forever either. You know what I mean? I'd rather people know exactly who I am.
I think people like knowing more than less. Even
Okay.
if it's like, they'll like that thing about, like, just being at home with your son, that's enough. Whatever else you say, you could talk about
those
the
murders I
the
did.
murders, abortions that you've been having, all your shit that you be
This
doing.
fact that I stay home with my son makes it up
No,
for it
it's
all.
like, it's so goddamn, that'll be like people's logo for when they think of you, like, just you at home. Do you when you're with your son, do you try to, is there like a level of focus that you try to bring, or like a concerted effort of like no phone, no like?
I try to. Sometimes I can't help it. Sometimes like an email or a message about something that I really got to get to, or even like a Zoom call or something, then like sometimes you got to do it. But I try my best to be like present with my son. He's 4 now. He's really getting into like video gamey stuff. Like he loves Roblox. He loves Super Mario. I got him a Nintendo
I like
Switch.
what I'm hearing. I like what I'm hearing for you.
He likes basketball. So I try to get him to like, well, let's play the Switch together, or like, all right, well, we got a little basketball hoop in our living room. Like, let's do that. Sometimes he doesn't want to do any of that. Sometimes he just wants to like zone out and watch TV, which I respect too. That was me that was me my whole childhood,
It's you now.
Yeah. But there are times where he wants my attention specifically to play toys or to do those things, and I'm distracted by my phone, and he has to tell me like, no phones. He's like, no phones. And I'm like, fair enough. I gotta like, because if he's telling me, that means I'm going way overboard.
Okay, so he'll give you like a grace period.
Yeah.
Like 8 to 10 minutes, and then it's like,
yeah, he's like, come on,
dog, I'm only gonna be 4 once.
Yeah, he's like, no phones, no phones. I'm like, you're right, son, you're right. I do feel bad too. There's other times where like I don't even have my phone, and I do that mind zone out thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just worried about this or that, or I'm thinking about this or that, and I'm like, after a while, I'm like, oh man, he hasn't bugged me in a while. Like, how long have I zoned out for? Like, and I feel bad. I feel like, is he getting used to that? Like, fuck, it's kind of scary too.
Well, what do you? I don't know enough about parenting. They always say it's like 90% of it's just showing up, just being there. I think there's something to like a human body being near you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like. There's no like rule book on like a dad does this, a dad doesn't do that. There's like general rules of thumb, I guess. But I think for the most part, for me, it's like be there and do your best to be like a good example and a good person to your kid, like so that they could be a good person later on. You don't want to raise some asshole,
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I try to show affection. I try to show love. I try to like discipline them and everything. But when I have to miss out on time with him, or when I am there and I'm like absent-minded, like I might as well just be a dead body around, then I feel like I'm letting him down. Because
do you think he notices? Can you feel like maybe he notices?
I think he like, I think he notices. I think maybe he doesn't really understand what he's feeling, or what, but I do think that like he notices, and I think my son and I both notice it when I've finally kind of snap out of like the absent-minded thing and then go play with him, because it feels like, holy shit, when's the last time I made you laugh? Like yesterday? Like that sucks. Or like 2 days ago? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to only be there, because I'll be honest, the discipline part of being a dad snaps me out of anything more. If I'm absent-minded or whatever, if I'm zoning out, or if I'm focusing on these emails and I hear my son being a brat with like my brother or sister, or trying to get away with eating too much candy or anything, I snap out of it quick. And then I go on and I'm like, hey, like, don't do this, don't do that, or you know what, let's get you in the shower, let's do it. Like, and if I see him doing something that's gonna lead to his poor health, or to him just being like a shitty person one day, I snap out of it so quick. When I should snap out of it way more often. I should snap out of it when he's bored, or when he's watching too much TV, like to like really engage with them. But when I see him doing something that I feel like is gonna domino effect and badly, then I snap out of it really fast.
It is funny with parenting now with phones and tablets and shit, is when it's like it seems like some parents just throw that at their kid, like, just check the phone out. But it's basically because like you want to check the phone out.
Yeah.
It's a weird, there's certain things in parenting now that I'm curious to see how they turn out. Well, that's one of them. And the availability of weed. Meaning, if a lot of parents are kind of just stoned all day, how's that going to be?
Ever since, because like I'm
not accusing you of that. I'm just saying, like, now that weed's legal in a lot of places, I'm just kind of like, it seems like parents maybe are stoned all day, and I wonder how that's going to be.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit. I think my son is a big reason I stopped smoking. I haven't smoked in like 5 or 6 months.
Mm.
So I used to just smoke whenever I was by myself. And if my son was with me, then I wouldn't smoke. But after a while, I just stopped smoking altogether because I feel like there's just a lot going on in general. But yeah, I am afraid of giving him too much of like tablet time or something.
Yeah.
My son loves that stuff, but
They're
even
great. They're amazing.
Yeah.
These fucking things are amazing.
but I gotta make sure to like just snatch it from him from time to time. And
Yeah.
he gets mad.
It makes it makes parenting easier.
Yeah.
You just have a co-parent, which is the tablet, and you go, oh,
Yeah.
fucking, I'm gonna go.
I'll take it away from him. Even if we're in the car, sometimes he wants to use it in the car. We live like an hour outside of the city. We're like out in the country. And sometimes we go into the city and he'll ask me if he can use the tablet on the way. And I'm just like, nah. He'll get mad. He's like, but I'm gonna be bored. I'm like, it's all right. Like sometimes you gotta be bored for a minute. Sit with your thoughts, man.
Yeah.
And so you just be there just staring out the window. And I'm like, yeah.
And no, it's funny. Like space, get spacey like your daddy.
Yeah, because I don't want him to become too fidgety either. Because if he's constantly needing something to like distract him, then where does it end? You know,
It ends where we're already at. Do you know what I mean? Like it ends constant phones,
constant phone. Yeah.
just constant stimulation.
I want him to be okay with like dead space.
I know it's weird. I bet you wouldn't have thought that 5 years ago.
No,
In terms of here's what I was going to ask. When you said the thing about kind of noticing his behavior and like, is this going to lead to him being a bad person? Did you have feelings about what made a good or bad person before you were a parent? Or did you, once you saw the kid, you were like, okay.
Yeah, I was always curious about stuff like that. Like before I started doing stand-up, I took an acting class.
Mm-hmm.
In the few months that I was trying to learn to be an actor, I know they're like, well, you gotta like study human nature. You're becoming a character. You're becoming a person with like a history, and a history that explains how that character became who they are in this movie or in this role, right? So I'm always trying to like, ever since then, I always was trying to like see people in their adulthood, and then I try to kind of like ask them about their childhood and to see if there's any patterns when I ask another adult, like, what was your childhood like? And
you would do this just because of the acting class, or you were
after a while I'll do it just because.
Yeah.
Like at first I started because of the acting class, but then I just started doing it because like, well, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So if I talk to like 10 different people and I notice that 4 of them have a similar trait, well, I try to find out if their childhood has any similar patterns, you know?
Yeah.
But other things I feel like are just kind of like a given. Like if my son walks into a room and there's a lot of people there and he's acting a fool, he's like jumping on the couch or being loud, he's being obnoxious to the general public. And I don't want him to continue that trait, because not only will he do it in other people's homes, but he'll do it in school, in the mall. Like he'll just be the person who maybe lacks self-awareness or lacks respect for the general public. And I don't want that to happen. Or if he's...
Did you, before the acting class, I'm assuming based on the sort of space outs and all that stuff, I'm betting you're observant.
Probably.
And you like notice that you know the kind of people you like and don't like.
Yeah, for the most part.
And do you find that morality is a big part of that? In terms of how you like that I like that person because... What kind of person do you tend to like?
I tend to like humility. I think that's something big for me in people.
And is that something you kind of keep track of in yourself?
I try to,
you're doing great, man. Like you could really.
I try to. But I also admire people who are good at knowing when to like not be needy for attention. And I feel like that was something I struggled with as a kid. Is like I always wanted the attention.
That's funny. So you see that in your kid, and you're like, "We gotta nip this in the bud."
Not really. It's just sometimes I don't know.
What did you? Are you embarrassed looking back?
Looking back, I'm like, there's so many chances to make a joke or to be the funny dude in the room, and I might have tried to take every single one, even the ones that weren't even my chances. And then I see people who don't take those chances and are still so likable. And I'm like, why couldn't I just be more like that the other day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like now that I'm older, maybe I can tell myself to like just shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
just be a fly on the wall in this room. Maybe, you know what I mean? They're not all your rooms.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot in people. But I also take that like maybe too far sometimes, where I'm like, let me shut up and not talk for.
Yeah.
I just don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
Like, let me. And if you do it too much, well, then you lose likability. You know what I mean? But it's like they say, like you can't care too much about what people think. I think
Yeah, but
that goes to an extent, though. You got to care somewhat of what certain people think.
you want to do well or not?
Yeah.
We have to care what the audience thinks.
Yeah.
It's not comedy.
Audiences for sure. And it just depends which room you're in with which people too. You got to like keep your sanity, but also, just be mindful of people.
How do you stay humble if you're do you feel tested by it?
Sometimes when I'm around people, and this might just be my own anxiety or paranoia, but sometimes I feel like I'm around people that can see me going through a tough situation with like attention I'm getting or just whatever. Sometimes I don't handle like all the comments and on YouTube and Instagram so well, and they kind of get to me, or I can't handle what this person said about me or whatever, right? Like it kind of bugs me a bit. And I feel like sometimes people around me think, well, stop being a little bitch. If that was me, I would handle it. Or that was me, I would do this. And on those people, I want to stop being humble sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of that bugs me a lot when a lot of people think, well, if I was in your position, I'm pretty sure I'd handle better.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, a lot of these people can't even get to my position.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were in my position,
Almost
like get to
nobody
my
can get to
position first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the moments where I do want to like start listing off accomplishments.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did this, I did that,
Yeah. You saw my don't tell?
It's just like, man, I can't. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
if
No,
anything,
then
now I gotta
but by
add
the
you
way,
to
then
the
you watch the
brush-off
NBA
list.
and you're like, this soft motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then like that's just how life is. Then
Yeah.
you're like, I would never, like, we're all, prosecutor of everybody else and defense attorney for ourselves. Is like
That'll
the-
never end. That'll never end. This is the list of like, if I were you, this is what I would have done.
Yeah.
That list will never end. And it could
Yeah.
be people who never met you, and it can be people who do know you and still love you.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't mean that much harm by it. Maybe you're taking it too much to heart. But if you are giving me that, instead of like flexing on you, I might just brush it off and be like, whatever, bro. Like now you're on that list of people I gotta just like ignore, brush off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've waived a few in the past couple weeks. I've waived off a couple. Like, because I never am glad I did it.
Yeah.
I always say it's like getting snap counted offsides, or I'll go for a pump fake if I'll put in basketball terms. Like someone, and then I jump and I foul them. Like fucking
Yeah.
Why did I go for their, like, they just baited me a little bit.
If I go off on my own buddy and start listing off the reasons why like he's not on my level, next week he's not gonna be like, hey man, thanks for putting me in my place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
We're all cool still.
So, all right. So let's go on our final descent. What are so all these sort of downside stuff, this stuff that's like, you're absent or you're spacey or whatever. What's the upside of it? Because I'm always on the podcast, I'm always kind of, we're like looking on the down. It's
The
sort
upside
down.
of always
The
being
upside,
absent-minded?
Yeah.
Is that
The
I'm
upside of all
productive
this
up there.
stuff. Say it again.
That I'm always productive up there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having another card up your sleeve.
Yeah.
While a lot of the people that I hang around with back home or friends or whatever, sometimes they blame it on talent. They're like, oh man, well, you got this, you booked this, or you landed this gig because how talented you are, good. And it's like, yeah, that too. But I've also been working out like strategies in my head or like plans. Yeah. Like I'm trying to work out the next joke. I'm trying to work out how can I get in front of this booker? How could I try to get on the Tonight Show? Like what do we got to do here? I'm working out small term goals in my head, or I'm working out jokes. Like I'm staying productive in here.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Stephen King calls his like writing engine, he calls it the boys in the basement. That's what he like.
That's what he calls it?
Yeah.
Like he's the boy?
No, there's boys in the basement that just are doing it.
Fucking weird ass Stephen King.
No, I know, but it's a fucking it's a great way to say it, where it's like you don't always go out looking for a joke. The fucking boys in the basement just go, hey.
I like to think of I love thinking about that scene in the first Iron Man, like that whole beginning part where he's stuck in the cave and they think he's building them a missile, but he's building the suit. Yeah, I love feeling like that's where I'm at. It's like I'm in this cave, and whenever I accomplish something good or big, or I get like a cool opportunity, or even when I just go on stage and do like a fresh new joke that nobody's heard, and even my buddies can be like, "Oh shit, that's a good one," you know. Like a lot of the time they think like, "Oh, he just thought of it," and then like it's there. Like, no, this bro, I've been cooking this for like fucking 4 weeks already. I just never said anything. You know? I'm been like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's me when he like bust out in the big old suit and like flamethrower and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, like this is what I've been cooking.
That's the thing. There is a downside. There's a price of like we get accused of being shitty friends or shitty boyfriend, whatever. But like, it's kind of what the machine does.
Yeah.
And like, so that's why I'm always saying to people like, I there are parts of me that I consider like negative or not great, but I know that there's some value to it.
Yeah.
In just a different part of my life.
Yeah. I'd suck way more as a person if I was absent-minded and just not producing anything.
And cutting hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were the worst until like a year ago. You would not be on this podcast, my friend. No barbers allowed.
No barbers.
And what's your, like, have you done any therapy or anything?
Nah. I'm on to now that I've kind of been stressing a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like sounding like a little bitch to my friends all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like therapy seems like a healthy, like, you need somebody to talk to.
BetterHelp.com, promo code Neal. NEAL.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I got you 10% off your first month.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you should. You get a lot of stress. Your life's
Is it like good therapy or is it like 10% off type therapy?
Look, I don't get into this. They'll assign you. You got to fill out a form.
I feel like if I'm getting coupon therapy,
you
they're
gotta
going to
get.
be like,
It's not great. Go fuck yourself. I would never. You're gonna have you're going through a lot of change in your life, and like it's a gift and it's exciting, but it's also stressful. Like you got to acknowledge that. You can't just be like on some you can't be purely grateful and like I'm just happy to be. You have to stay on top of it.
I don't want to bitch too much, but I got to enjoy some of it, but I don't want to bitch too much either. Like there's like a balance, you know?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it. I'm not like, yo, this is too much to handle.
I don't think you are.
If you want the big successes in life, you got to take on the big stresses, you know?
Yep. What is your ultimate goal for yourself in life, like emotionally?
Man, I think I do okay emotionally. I guess the big goal for me is to, and this might not even be a real thing, but I would like to be sometimes on a more normal emotional human level. Like I'd like to be able to like keep that relationship or like maybe be a better friend to people, like a more what do you call it, traditional person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I see a lot of people who like are good at being people, like good at being a person, and I feel like I'm good at it for very small increments, which is maybe why I like to move around a lot. A lot of time people blame me not being around on my job. They're like, oh, well, you know, you can't always be around because his work, he travels a lot. I travel a lot because I'm like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really fell into this line of work because I like, this is who I am. Like, I don't like to be around people 7 days a week, every week for the whole year. Like, I'll go nuts.
Yeah.
When I worked several different types of jobs, like I used to paint cars. Every Mexican stereotype job I've had it. I was like a dishwasher.
Fantastic. Didn't want to say it. Thanks for taking that. Thanks for taking that off my plate.
I was working really hard to learn to be a painter, and I felt like I was moving up those ranks pretty quickly. I was working at a body shop, and the main painter guy was like never there. I was having to do a lot of the work on my own, which I was like kind of proud of. But after a few weeks of working there, I was living with my son's mom. We weren't having a baby yet or anything, but I was just like, yo, so do I just do this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Do I just go home to her and her family? Do I just put in my 40 hours, maybe more or less, every week until what? Like I'm 65 or something? Like, and I started doing the math. Like, how many weeks is that? How many hours is that? And then what? What's the exciting part? Not that I want crazy stuff to happen, but like, what is the exciting part? The occasional birthday party or cookout? Like,
But you know what's funny? As you said that, I've had that thought a week ago about this life. Like, I'm sure Brad Pitt is like, so am I just going to be like one of the most famous people and do movies every once in a while? Like fucking Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia is like, so am I just going to be in charge of Saudi Arabia forever?
so that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a made up thing in my head to like be okay with that stuff. But I would like to think that some people are better at being okay with that stuff. And I would like to be okay with that stuff. I feel like that's more of a traditional mindset. I feel like when I'm trying to really have a relationship with somebody or trying to like be more in like connected with family or friends, I could do it for a bit. And then I'm like, bro, I got to take off. Like we've been on the road almost every weekend for a year now. And I've had weekends scheduled that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need to take that one off, you know. And
then that Tuesday comes, you're like, we should maybe rebook something for this weekend.
I've booked every single free weekend I've had, whether it be like some pop up stuff back home or somewhere. Like I've booked every weekend I've had. I'm like, bro, we gotta stay moving. Like I just, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird job. It's a weird personality sort of mold that we are just as comedians or whatever the fuck, spacey motherfuckers. Is weird. It's kind of weird. But I hear what you're saying. I've just gotten over, again, in the last like maybe 6 months, that idea of I should be a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is so much pressure to be traditional. It's just like most people are. You want to fit in. We're social animals.
I think it's like a stability thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's my goal. My emotional goal is to just be more of a stable, calm
balance.
person.
I'm betting.
Balance.
You want to be able to write the same bits and be more.
My friend, one of my best friends, his name's Anthony. He bought his next door neighbor's house with money he had saved up when he was like 20. He'd been working since he was like 15. Very cheap house, not like super nice. It was very beat down.
No,
right?
we knew that.
And every weekend, for like a year and a half or something, him and his dad would work on the house, or like days after work or something. Then he got he moved in, started working his job, which I think he's looking for more. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna sit here and say like he loves his job. You know?
Yeah,
he's looking for more with her. But he has his fiance. They have a baby. And he's such a chill dude. He's emotionally mature. And I'm like, bro, if I could reach that level of emotional maturity that you have, I'm like, that's where I want to be. Like the guy just seems like chill minded. And I don't think I'm there. I think when I'm with, like I've been dating somebody, when I'm with my girlfriend and my son, it feels good. But if I'm being 100% honest, it doesn't feel good the whole day. There's small moments in the day where I'm like, yeah, or just like,
yeah.
Like, I gotta work on something. I gotta do something. Like my mind's just,
yeah. It's all right. There's nothing abnormal about what you're saying. Just so you know, like for real. Like if people listen, whatever. Like,
well, in that case, I have no goals. I'm good.
Yeah, you got a Netflix coming out. You got one, maybe do a couple. Yeah, and then you'll just get into like, so am I just gonna be a comedian? Ralph Barbosa, everybody. Cowabunga.
I don't know when this comes out, but Cowabunga out on Halloween on Netflix.
Go.
Maybe it's already out.
Might be. Maybe it's not out yet. It's one or the other.
Follow me on Instagram.
Are we? This is like people that can't say goodbye. Like, all right, we're gonna.
Oh, I can't say bye.
No, This feels like two people that are like, all right, I'm leaving, and then you both go to the traffic light, and you're like, okay,
all right,
see you later. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Ivan, peace, man. Good shit. Yeah.